Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Riverbend Springs. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 25. Welcome back to the channel. We are going to try to pack this silage bunker full tonight. I've already delivered about four or five loads in here to this bunker, and we got a whole lot more to deliver. Kind of curious how much we can put in here, and if we will get it packed full or not. Before the stream, we were talking about Calmsden Farm. The long-anticipated map from Auction David is now released over on the Giants Mud Hub. If you haven't seen, where have you been all day? Oh, and you know what? Don't go out and watch the video now, but queue up my map guide. I did release that just a couple hours ago. There are a few really nice features to the 2025 version. I will admit, though, I thought the map that folks were waiting for from Auction David was a new map. I was a little disappointed when I realized it was a rehash of the map that came out in 25 or 22. And honestly, it may have even come out in 19, if I am vaguely remembering correctly. But there were a couple nice new features with the map, namely the ability to actually delete farm buildings. Who would have thought? The ability to customize your farm. What a novel idea. So glad to see that now caught on with some map makers. You know what? You can have a realistic farm if you want to play that way, or you can make a few changes if you struggle with how the farm is laid out, or you just want a little bit different structure. You know what? You have that capability. You don't have to be locked down to what the rules and regulations of the UK say, because you know what? It's more like play your way, not their way. After all, while we can't exactly have Burger King here on the channel, we can sure play as if we were at Burger King. Have it your way, after all. Not a sponsor, by the way. I was also saying, Raz, not exactly my choice of interior. It's kind of got a light cream, white interior, at least for the seats. I would have preferred a darker interior for the seats, just because it will literally show every bit of dirt over the many years. But yeah, it's pretty nice equipped. I got like $8,000 off the sticker. Just wish interest rates were a little bit lower. But I can hold out hope that rates will drop and I can do a refi on it. We were also talking about the weather. We're in a deep Arctic plunge down here in the south. We're seeing single digits, which may be common in northern countries or northern states here in the U.S. or Canada. But trust me, single digits here in Virginia is not that common of an occurrence, let alone further south. How's everybody doing today? Who's played on Calmsden so far? What do you think of the FS25 variant? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Long Panther says yes, indeed, it was at least out in 19, or maybe that guy had a pre-release copy. Maybe it never really came out in 19. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look and see how many map tours I have of that particular map. New Orleans is going to shut down. Why? Because it's like 20? Yeah, we have 11 Fahrenheit now. That's minus something in C's. And it's going to get down into single digits. 8, I think, tonight. Low tomorrow is 0 F, which ironically is like Wednesday morning. Okay, Farmer G has cleared up the confusion. So he's indeed working on a new map, but folks had begged and pleaded, please, 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 please release Homestead early, please. And Officer David said, sure, why not? And, well, there you go. All I know is after nearly 1,000 map videos, they don't all blur together, but when any one map came out, it definitely blurs together. It's like if you just gave me a name of a map, I'd be like, okay. Like, I don't know from the name, is that new or old? But almost within 30 seconds of loading up a map and looking at it, I can be like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. We need to get fuel on one of these trips up there. Jeffrey says it's 3. Just 3. Yeah, schools are delayed tomorrow. My work is delayed tomorrow. I don't know. I guess they think if the sun comes up, it'll help melt some ice. But quite frankly, any ice that's around is not going to be melting in the morning sun in single digits. At work, sidewalks that were in the sun, dry as a bone this morning. Sidewalks that were anywhere remotely shaded, slick as snot, covered in ice. Basically, if the sun ain't gonna hit it, I don't care how much salt you put down on the thing, it ain't gonna do nothing. Well, folks, there's one way to solve this little mystery, and that is to search. So I've got a Calmsden farm for FS22, or Calmsden 1.2 update, and a Calmsden farm for FS25. I have no Calmsden Farm 19 video. The Calmsden Farm 22 video released on January 19th, 2022. What is today, everybody? January 20th, 2025. Holy cow. 3 years and the day later, we have the release of the same map for the next game. Could that have been coordinated? Could that have been planned? Or are we just that darn lucky with our numerology? Conspiracy theories will run rampant, I'm sure. So it looks like no, was not in 19, it was in 22, as Farmer G, like a resident expert of UK and Irish maps, has said. Carpathian Countryside, is he working on it? Do you know? Do you know, is he working on it? Because, yeah, that was a really nice map in 22. Although, personally, I like new maps. I tend to not get my toes curled up over re-releases. Just saying. Because it feels like, oh, we've been here before. Just looks a little better. It's been modernized a little bit. But again, that's maybe a little soured after nearly 1,000 map tours. Right? I don't know. We don't know what, do we know what, do we know what's going on with maps? Oops. Do we know what Alien Jim's got planned? I'll tell you a map I did oogle over in FS19 during the mod contest. Mr. Hector released his snow. Started with an S. I can't remember it now. Started with an S. That's all I can remember. Dang it, that map was nice in 19. Now I gotta go look. And people make me have to go look this stuff up. Hold on. Hold your horses. I think it was 19. Slovakia, that's it. No? No, that wasn't it. Holy cow, was it back in 17? How many years do we go? Like I said, I got to go back a long ways. Slovak Village, oh my god, it was back in 19. 17. Slovak Village, this was the shit of a map. I tell you, back in the day. It was during the mod contest. And that is something I'd like to see Giants bring back, is the mod contest. Slovak Village was amazing in FS17. You think it came out with a Rise of Industry, a production version of that map as well, later on in FS17's run. How the time has passed. As far as I know, that was his maiden map. And man, it was impressive. Each house had a yard. Each yard had a little garden. Every yard was decorated up to the nines. Well, I'm telling you what, it didn't release. Because there is not a single video map on the Mod Hub other than the maps that have released for Farm Sim after the next game came out that I haven't covered. So I'm sure he's got a video on a not released version of the map. Just go to here. This will settle it. You can't deny reality. Here's every mod released by Auction David for FS19. He may have been working as FS22 was announced and then basically shelved the project. That's possible. That search right there, that is a bit of a blast from the past also. Sandy Bay, remember that one? That one came out for PC. Never ended up coming out for console. Quite a shame there. At least I think that's the one that never came out for console. But at any rate, Calmston out now for 22. It just didn't attract my interest. Nothing wrong with the map. It just didn't draw me in. And I see no real desire in playing a map that doesn't really draw me in. Well, Mr. Dio, maybe you played it in 22. But all signs point that it wasn't in 19. Linseed. Linseed is a new crop. I think some map makers have been struggling with trying to figure out how to add additional crops to FS25 maps. So, well, there's our benchmark. Calmston has linseed, so people can pick that apart and figure out where and how it was done. A little frustrating that it shows up at the bottom, which I guess is kind of handy for folks to know that it's a new crop. But then when you look at the crop counter and everything else, it is sorted alphabetically. Oh, that's the fuel. I'm like, what's that beeping for? I think I did a 1.2 update. I don't really do map updates. I think I did a 1.2 update for it in 22 because I was a little critical of it in 22 with its initial release. I think I was hoping that 1.2 would resolve some of the things I was critical on. Alright, let's get fuel before we go and forget again. was trying to see if there was a fuel gauge in the cab. I didn't see one moving. Also, did a little work over here. We had some storm damage. And I'm trying something here. I plowed up the ground where we had our storm damage. I heard if you plow it up with great fields, it basically resets the ground and erases the storm damage. So we'll have to see when we plant crop in there if we do get growth or not. All right, back to the grind. Well, it may have been that Sandy Bay came out in 19 for PC alone, and then came out for console in 20, or in 17. I don't know. He had a map, I know, and it had a train, I know, that never made its way to console the initial release year. Maybe it came the following game version. If your hair gets wet, it will. I don't know what temperature it needs to be, but there's some temperature where if you take like a pot of hot water and you just fling it out right in front of you outside, then it will basically freeze before it hits the ground. But it's got to be hot water, apparently. Something about the temperature differential, I don't know. Maybe because it's steaming, I don't know. Alright, just about 2 fields done. I said it earlier, I've already got a mower running on the 3rd field. It should be done now. Some other interesting mods dropped today. Some nice farmhouses I saw. A couple barns. But maybe it's a good sign for this week. Having a decent mod drop on a Monday. We can definitely get our roller running on this field now. What other games have you all been playing? Keeping yourself occupied. Discord's got some thing going on with some Russian fishing game. I wonder if that's got anyone else's crazed up. I started. Why are you going so slow? I started playing on my own time. KD1. And then we started doing our Baldur's Gate 3 multiplayer playthrough again, which got me kind of itching to play more Baldur's Gate 3. So then I started a Dark Urge run in Baldur's Gate 3. But I've been thinking about it. It's just I don't know when to slot it in. Because honestly, if I don't know if I'm gonna play it by alone or put it over on the second channel. Like, I could see putting it on the second channel just to try to grow that channel. But I'm gonna have to stop something else. Just tab real quick. I did see Mortem Gaming. What's his name? Mortem. I did see he put a video out last month on Indiana Jones, so I was kind of curious on watching his take on that. You know, as PC players, we have way too many choices available to us. Oh no, Jonathan V is diving deep into American Truck Sim. Old school Mike, I have zero plans for Calmston beyond the map video that I already published. And map just doesn't interest me one bit. And everybody and their sister will be playing it, and I have a natural aversion to anything that is popular. It's kind of hard to carve your own niche out of a map when like 90% of the people creating content are creating content on that one map. But just like with the 22 version, the map really doesn't draw me in at all. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the map, it just doesn't interest me personally. I mean, for some, they're the best thing ever, and that's fine. That's great. If it fits everything you ever wanted in a map, then good. Good for you. But yeah, for me, it's not so much. What's up, Donald? Now that was weird. My headphones just cut out. I don't know. Did sound cut out for you all too? Oh, I'd love to see the new South Mountain Creamery. But I don't think that's going to be in the works. I'm not used to working with such big bunkers. I don't have the timing figured out on how fast to drive through there. Oh shoot. You're only hearing game sounds. You don't hear my mic. Yeah, sure. All right, let's go and this up. And off we go. Ghosts in the machine. It's Patrick Swayze. He's come back to haunt us all. All right, that's done. Yeah, now I know you definitely hear me. No way you dreamt up Patrick Swayze. What's up, David? How's it going? Good evening, Delilah. How's it going? Weren't there two? Weren't there like two genie shows? There was I Dream of Genie, and then there was something else. An inferior knockoff on a different network. Bewitched, that was it, right? Yeah. Remember back when like a network would find something good, and then the other network would try to take that formula but change it, and it was just awful. Like we did that with action shows in the 80s also. Right, one network would get a good hit, like let's say the A-Team, and then another network would say, oh the A-Team, right, let's get a bunch of veterans and have them drive around in a van and basically like fight crime. Oh well, let's spin that a little bit, and instead of driving around in a van, let's drive them around in a helicopter, and let's call it Airwolf. Oh, I wonder how long we've been full. No, there was Voltron, then there was something else. It wasn't Power Rangers. Delilah, Compton did drop today. We've already got a map tour posted. Go check it out. What? A faster than sound helicopter? I mean, these shows aren't about reality. I don't know, maybe there is Yeah, there is such a thing. I mean, all these helicopters these days have jets on them anyway. You had right, like you had Knight Rider, and then there was one that was like this motorcycle, like this black motorcycle that was all decked out in tech. I don't remember what it was called. Street Hawk, that's it. That's exactly it. I mean, like, name one copycat show that surpassed the original. Now, I guess I should caveat that with in the initial market, right? So, like, if a show was originally a UK-based show or a Japanese show that was morphed into a show here in the States, that's different. Yeah, I remember, I don't know how old I was, but I remembered at one point, it was probably for like Christmas or something, I got an old TV for my bedroom. And that was the same TV I had all the way up until I moved out after college. But it was also before cable. So it was like you could get NBC, one NBC, maybe two. We lived almost equidistant between DC and Baltimore. So we got the DC and Baltimore NBCs, ABCs, CBSs, and Foxes. Right, so we had two channels of each, but of course they showed the same thing. And then we had probably like four or five PBSs that I could get. Yeah, I know, but there was another animated show that had robots that joined into a larger one, and it was like something cats. It wasn't live action. I don't know, that was like 40 years ago. Hello, Leonard, what's up? I would say MacGyver over Quantum Leap. I never really liked Quantum Leap. I never got into MASH. I never watched MASH. I didn't do a whole lot of Magnum PI. I think I watched a little bit of Miami Vice. Well, thank you, Leonard. I'm doing fine. I'll tell you what, I'm actually coming off of a pretty bad case of food poisoning. I was in a pretty bad shape on Saturday. That's why we didn't do a live stream on the second channel. On Saturday night, I was just dead. Dead to the world. And I've been recovering ever since. I see Matlock. And I see Matlock is coming back. You know, there's no original ideas around here anymore. Yeah. Yesterday was a bit better. A bit better, but still sketchy. Today was fairly better, but still some residuals. Hoping things will be fully back to normal tomorrow. I'm pretty sure we know. Because me and the kid both got sick. Saturday morning, early AM, like overnight. And we both had Chick-fil-A. Friday for dinner. We had different things, but we both had Chick-fil-A. He was sick at 1 in the morning, and I was pretty much up the rest of the night. He being substantially younger, and I think since he purged it sooner, he was less affected. Farmer G, it's a holiday today here in the States. It is Martin Luther King Day, and classes were canceled today because of the holiday. But due to the, oh, we're already full. Due to the weather of it being ultra cold and as such kind of icy conditions, they went ahead and closed admin offices again today. So I had basically a surprise day off. So I was able to get to it this afternoon. It probably could have been faster, but I had to go in the office anyway because I had an install scheduled with a couple vendors for this morning. And we got that finished around noon. Yeah, I saw an ad from Matlock. And I was like, what is this? Well, that's why they're remaking it. The original was fine. They figured it was good once. They can probably redo it, and it'll do good again. Heck, if it's the same network, they could just grab the same script and run with it. How's the weather? How's the weather in Holland? Did you get a lot of snow up there? We had probably, well, where the ice accumulated, we probably had a good quarter-inch of ice. I went out last night and scraped the windshield before it got super cold, so the ice wasn't hardened in. But today, I'm driving in this morning to get the work done. Man, you could tell the car was weighed down. It just drove a little bit different. And as the car shifted, you could hear the ice cracking on it. Scooter's Workbench. Farm Baron for 45 months. You know what? You know what I forgot to do? This video is brought to you by Nigel, Lindacote, and Farmer Ben. Thank you for being Farm Barons. Rasnak raises Scooter's 45 months with his own 45-month Farm Baron membership. Thank you for being a continued supporter of the channel for nearly 4 years. Can you believe it? We're gonna find the farm here in a minute. Donald goes. I got 25 months to add on top of that. Thank you, sir. What do we got? We got 500,000 liters. Oh, we're stuck. We got 500,000 liters of silage in here. It doesn't look like we have anything. I tell you what, from the videos I've seen about Holland, it seems like a great place to be. So what's so good about San Diego without people? That's what I'm curious about. Well, Donald, you have all the Heineken you can drink here. I watched an interesting video earlier today on Sears Roebuck house catalogs. So back turn of the century, 1900s, not turn of the century 20s, 2000s, but turn of the century 1900s, you could order a house from the Sears and Roebuck's catalog and have it shipped to you. Not assembled, mind you, but in pieces. Like all the 2x4s, all the nails, doors, windows, everything. And then you would have instructions on how to build it. This is kind of interesting video. You just mail order up a house, have it show up on a bunch of trucks, drop it off at your front door, well, soon to be front door, and you know, get some family, get some friends together, and just have a good old time putting it together. No, they've done that they did that all the way up to 1940. They showed some of the designs. I'm like, oh, I've seen houses around here that look just like that. And they had houses of all different sizes. Apparently there's a whole website you can go to now where they have like a registry of certified Sears Roebuck houses. But it's like legit. Like somebody shows up to your house and like they're an inspector. And like they look through the rafters, they try to find telltale signs of your lumber coming from there. Door hardware, hinges, things like that that are proprietary or exclusive to the homes. Some were a lot cheaper. Some were a lot cheaper. It was an interesting video. It was basically cheaper than you could get it locally because Sears and Roebuck's owned their own sawmills and basically pre-cut all the lumber, and so much of the lumber and everything was obviously reusable from one house to the next. There was economies of scale for supply. I mean, these weren't little houses at all, no. Some of them were, but some were quite large. Try not to get stuck. There we go. Yeah, interest rates were like crazy back then, right? I sadly totally agree, Tuki, right? It's frustrating, it's disappointing, it's depressing. Yeah, I see the cost of the house that we're in when it was built in '59. And then you see the progressive cost people have paid for it through the years. And then what it's assessed at now. And what that would be as a mortgage. I couldn't afford it to buy it now. Yeah, I feel lucky that we got into it 24 years ago. There's got to be a serious reset. Problem with a reset is like the people with money would just come in and buy things up to keep things artificially high. Yeah, I think to fill this bunker up fully, we'd have to go through multiple grass cuttings. Jonathan, you must have not put a space between two sentences. Well, Raz, you know, stuff's only as expensive as people are willing to pay. And I have to say, probably, yeah, $100, I'm sure people will pay that out. I mean, after all, how many times have they sold GTA 5 to certain folks? You know, you play it on console 1. Console 2 comes out. Oh, I want to play GTA 5 on it because it'll look so much better. Console 3 comes out. Oh, I want to play GTA 5 on it because it'll be just so much better. You move over to PC. Oh, I want to play GTA 5 on that because it'll be so much better. I guarantee you there's folks that have bought GTA 5 5 times. Indeed, indeed. Right, you put enough hours into it. My kid had trouble on his laptop the other week, and I was looking at it, trying to help him out. And I was just curious how many hours he had on Baldur's Gate 3. Over 800. Then he was trying to play Fallout 4. But it kept crashing on him. I have it on one platform, and it was free on Epic, so I didn't pay for it. Because I'm like, if Epic wants to give games away for free, I'll collect them. Usually our benchmark is $1 an hour, right? If you play for more than $1 an hour, then it was worth it. So if the game was $60, if you put 60 hours into it, then it was worth it. If you put more time into it than that, well, then it's even more worth it. Well, I mean, it just makes it worth it, right? So, like, going back to ATS, Jonathan was talking about picking up the game, picking up the DLCs, and Sim Dashboard, and now he's tempted to pick up the Hori Wheel, right? So if you add up all of that investment, then how many hours do you have to put into ATS to get back to $1 an hour? Right? I mean, I've got 1,000 hours on ATS myself. Have I spent $1,000 on ATS? No. Nowhere's close. So once you hit 1,000 hours, hey, you've done it. You bought it, because if you think, what can you do to entertain yourself for $1 an hour? You definitely can't go to the movies. Nope. You can't go to an amusement park. No. You go to a regular park. You pretty much can't do anything for $1 an hour. Rex Emilius, welcome. Well, that's another game that people have sunk a lot of money into, right? We're almost done this once we get done these long runs. Raz played World of Warcraft. That's something I never got into. I think there's a guy at work that still maybe plays. $725,000 liters. 750,000 liters here. I don't think we're gonna get to 1 million, but probably be 900,000 by the time we're done. Everyone like my assortment of beehives? If you haven't seen those, there's 42. And we actually get honey with some frequency now. Now I go back, I played the original Warcraft. Orcs versus humans. And then there was StarCraft. In fact, I have Warcraft and Warcraft 2 on DOS. There's a really great game preservation movement going on, and if you search let me look, make sure I get the name right. If you search Ecto-DOS, E-E-E-C-O-D-O. There. If you search that, you will come up with a site where you can basically download massive amounts of these old games that have long gone by. We'll call them abandonware. Duke Nukem your Larry, laser shoot Larry's. You know, just tons of games from developers, publishers that have all gone defunct. Other titles that have been abandoned, long abandoned by their current publishers and developers. GOG is getting heavy into game preservation publicly now. A big movement there, especially with all these live service games recently be shutting down. A lot of traction around, you know, the ability for a company to just cut people off from things that they've purchased and are still wanting to use. Yeah, I think this was a bad idea. There we go. Well, you get plans for the arcade box, right? And then like a mini PC running the, you can run, well, there's several Linux distros for retro gaming. I think one to look up is Batocera, I think. Because you really don't need anything too, obviously too powerful. But you can wire in, someone turn the lights off. You can then wire in like, you know, the old school controller and buttons to like a, yeah, like a Raspberry Pi controller. I'm sure Pitfall is. Yeah, where Exodus is different than GOG is that GOG's like somehow has the source code for these games and is updating the code to work with the modern OSs, your Windows 10, your Windows 11s. The Ectodos program basically is preserving the original and using DOS emulation, or to some degree Windows 3.1 emulation, Windows 95 emulation, to run these games natively as best as possible. Remember when games came with manuals? Now, we're not talking about like the Farm Sim manual, which is lacking in so much detail, but like actual books. On how to play the game. Yeah, the folks that put the Exodus stuff together, they are bat file masters, because that's how you install it, is with a bat file, and it just iterates through bat file after bat file to unzip folders, move things around. Mostly uses DOSBox for the DOS simulation. Uh-oh. Wrong button. You can even get the original, like, Oregon Trail for Mac 2. I think there's a Commodore 64 package. That's crazy. I did play a lot of Pharaoh. There's a, I guess a remake of that on Steam. I've got it in my wish list. I've never pulled the trigger on it. I remember building out the temples always took forever. See the little guys walk the little blocks of stone up the hill or around the pyramid. Yeah, the silage is, that's meaning we're gonna have close to 1 million liters worth of silage. So if we just look at our price, silage, 123 per 1,000 liters, right? Let's say we have 900,000 liters. So it's going to make us $110,000. But if we own the biogas plant, right, we're going to get a whole lot more money than that, because we're going to get methane. We're going to sell methane for that. We're going to get digestate, which we can then put on our fields. We can make that. We can process that in other ways. And, I mean, with this map, where we have other productions that are going to be able to use silage. Sky is kind of the limit. So to get that much silage, we just got 3 grass fields, a couple hours of work. I'm pretty sure that most of the games that you all have talked about is in that Ectodos stuff. I mean, you need like a 2 terabyte drive to extract it all. What's secret level? I'm working through the Lord of the Rings Ring of Power series. I'm about done season 1. Like, I don't know if I'm just not familiar enough with the Lord of the Rings mythos, universe, whatever. But season 1's been a little not hard to follow, but a little confusing. Like, clearly this is, like, prequel to, you know, your traditional Lord of the Rings books and movies. Ah, okay. That might be worth checking out. Like, there's hobbits, but they're not hobbits. I don't know where they are, where they fall in the whole mythos. Like, I think Sauron, or at least the person I think is Sauron, is just kind of a bumbling idiot right now. I don't understand that. I mean, maybe it's one of those things where you have to be hard in the lore. Well, you might not like this show. Because about the only thing common is, though there's orcs, there's humans, there's elves, and there's dwarves. And there are not hobbits, hobbits. All right, now let's see. Let's see how bad this needs compacting. Forty-one percent compacted. All right, let's find our roller. Down here at the barge. Speaking of that, where's the moon? I saw the moon earlier. Maybe it's below this ridge line. Is it over here? Alright, we get this guy rolling. There's the moon. That's the lovely moon. I like to point out all the time. All right. So 896,000 liters. And we got a lot of compacting to do. I need to put some more silage in the heap. It's leaked out on both sides. I guess I know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow night. Unless there's another magical map drop tomorrow. Then we'll be recording that video. I do think, though, Giants has sped up the compacting. I remember feeling it just took bloody forever to compact this much silage. But now it seems we're getting about 1% every pass. So hopefully not too much. I did ask Cavalier Roy where he was with Riverview. Haven't heard back yet. Then again, that was just earlier this evening. Well, after I would expect anyone to be awake on the other side of the pond. I think I sold the leveler that came with the map and the compaction roller. This will get the job done. So, Donald, all I'd say is, if you think the Amazon Prime show about Lord of the Rings is anywhere remotely similar to the Lord of the Rings movies, you've got the wrong idea. Other than the fact that there are orcs, there are humans, there are elves, and there are dwarfs. Like there's 5 story plots, and each episode is like 20 minutes of each story plot. You're 9 episodes in, 8 episodes in, and you really haven't figured out how all these story plots are coming together yet. It's like, you sure are taking your time to getting around to merging all this together. And as such, you're losing a whole lot of people. Yeah, I thought the Fallout show was good. For sure. Even without having, even without playing the game, I think it was relatively easy to get into. There's probably more little Easter eggs and things that a gamer that's played the series would have picked up on that non-gamers would not have picked up on, but still, it was something that didn't require you to know a whole lot of the backstory. Alright folks, I think that's going to end it for the night. We're just going to be compacting silage here for some period of time, leveling this out, smoothing it out. Tomorrow I'm going to work more on this. I'm going to clean up the ends, scoop them back into the bunker because we got a fair bit of overshoot. I'll get it blanketed up, and we'll come back on Wednesday And maybe we'll figure some automated way of getting this processed into cash. If you haven't checked out the map tour on Holmden, go ahead and check that out. I published that earlier in the channel this afternoon. Overall, if you enjoyed the map in FS22, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it for FS25. Not a whole lot has changed from 22 to 25, other than the fact that you're able to now sell all the farm buildings, which is always, in my opinion, the way to go. Until next time, happy farming.